He went back to Rudolph and started to shake him, of course very gently in order to wake him. And Rudolph could scarcely believe his own eyes. You could just imagine his joy and surprise.
At seeing who stood there so real and so near, while telling the tale we've already told here. For Santa's sad tale of distress and delay, the fog and the darkness and losing the way. The horrible fear that some children might waken before his complete Christmas trip had been taken.
And you, he told Rudolph, may yet save the day. Your wonderful forehead may yet pave the way for a wonderful triumph. It actually might. Old Santa, you notice, was extra polite to Rudolph regarding his wonderful forehead. To call it a big shiny nose would be horrid.
I need you, said Santa, to help me tonight, to lead all my dear on the rest of our flight. And Rudolph broke out in such a grin, it's almost connected to his ears and his chin. A note for his folks, he dashed off in a hurry. I've gone to help Santa, he wrote, do not worry. Said Santa, my sleigh I'll be bringing down to the lawn. You'd stick in the chimney and flash, he was gone.
So Rudolph pranced through the door, happy as he may, and took his proud place at the head of the sleigh. The rest of the night, well, what'd you guess? Old Santa's idea was a brilliant success. And brilliant was almost no word for the way that Rudolph directed the deer and the sleigh. In spite of the fog, they flew quickly and low, and made such good use of the wonderful glow. From Rudolph's, forehead, at each intersection, that not even once did they lose their direction.
While as for the houses and streets with the sign on them, they merely flew close so that Rudolph could shine on them. To tell who lived where and just what to give whom, they'd fly by each window and peek in the room.
Old Santa knew always which children were good, and minded their parents and ate as they should. So Santa selected the gift that was right, while Rudolph's forehead gave just enough light.
It all went so fast that before it was day, the very last present was given away. The very last stocking was filled to the top, just as the sun was preparing to pop.
The sun woke up the reindeer in Rudolph's hometown. They found the short message that he had written down, then gathered outside to await his return. And were they excited, astonished to learn that Rudolph, the uglier deer of them all, Rudolph, the red-nosed, bashful and small.
The funny-faced fellow they always called names and practically never allowed in their games was now to be envied by all far and near, for no greater honor can come to a deer than riding with Santa and guiding his sleigh, the #1 job on the #1 day.
The sleigh and its reindeer soon came into view, and Rudolph still led them as downward they flew. Oh boy, was he proud as they came to a landing, right where his handsomer playmates were standing.
These bad deer who used to do nothing but tease him would now have done anything only to please him. They felt even sorrier they had been bad when Santa said, "Rudolph, I never have had a deer quite so brave or brilliant as you at fighting black fog and guiding me through."
By you, last night's journey was actually bossed. Without you, I'm certain we'd all have been lost. I hope you'll continue to keep us from grief on future dark trips as Commander-in-Chief.
But Rudolph just blushed from his head to his toes until his whole fur was as red as his nose. The crowd first applauded, then started to screech, "Hooray for our Rudolph! And we want a speech!"
But Rudolph was bashful, despite being a hero, and tired. His sleep on the trip totaled 0. So that's why his speech was just brief and not bright. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. And that's why
Whenever it's foggy and gray, it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer who guides Santa's sleigh. Be listening this Christmas, but don't make a peep. 'Cause that late at night, children should be asleep. The very first sound that you'll hear on the roof, provided there's fog, will be Rudolph's small hoof.
And soon after that, if you're still as a mouse, you may hear a swish as he flies around the house and gives enough light to give Santa a view of you in your room. And when they're all through, you may hear them call as they drive out of sight.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.